Hello everyone, it's Stella here. I hope that you're doing great. Welcome to the Bibi and Yaya Show, the place where people come to get inspired about all aspects of life, the vices and the advice. Here, we share people's stories so you don't make the same mistakes in life. We then try to provide these people with solutions through the comments section. Our goal is to share experiences and wisdom with all of you. Today, we have two stories. One from a couple that is going on their 16th year of marriage, and one story from a woman who discovered her true sexuality on her second marriage. Please keep the comments balling in. Write your solutions or opinions that you think will help these people. We will try to reply to all comments and will share our opinions. Please show some love to the ones who share their stories by smashing the thumbs up button below. And if this is your first time watching one of our episodes, subscribe to our channel. We are here to help everyone who needs life advice in any good or difficult situation, so you can share your stories with us at the email address in the description below if you need any help. Alright folks, without further ado, let's get into the first story. But before we begin, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who smashes the like button and comments for the YouTube algorithm. Doing that helps the channel tremendously. Even if it is something as small as destroying the like button, it helps the YouTube algorithm in recommending our videos to a bigger audience. And for that, we really appreciate and thank you so much. We both became super successful, and it almost broke our marriage. We were 1%ers. It's kind of addictive at first, but then we started to lose ourselves in the process. Here, Bob and Carmen, married 16 years, share their story. Bob: Carmen and I went to high school together. We weren't in a relationship, but we always kind of looked out for each other. My family was middle class, and then my parents got divorced, and we were pretty poor all of a sudden. I think that was a big driver for me, not wanting to ever live the way we did growing up. I started working in the corporate world as a web and graphic designer, and I got into a place that paid pretty well and offered a lot of mobility, so I was able to climb the ladder pretty quickly. Carmen: I was vice president and team lead at a market research company. Accumulation of wealth isn't something that's a motivating factor for me, but as long as you move along in your career, you get promoted, and some of those other things come along. Bob: We were 1%ers. It's kind of addictive at first, especially coming from nothing. But the more you get, the more you spend. And the more you spend, the more you need. And you get into this cycle of constantly needing to have more and do more in order to be happy. It was good at first, but then we started to lose ourselves in the process. Carmen: There's an extraordinary level of stress that comes along with it too. It's challenging to make time for each other when you're spending at least 10 to 12 hours a day working and then traveling a couple of days a week. And when we did find time, we were so depleted that it was like, what quality of time do we have? That is true indeed. Don't forget to click on the like button below if you have not done so yet to show some support to her. Now, let's continue listening to what happened next. Bob: We recognized that this work schedule, this lifestyle, was killing us. We went to therapy for several years, and the therapist said, "Why don't you guys consider making a career change?" I think that's what set the process about. I enrolled in the Wine and Spirit Education Trust, an accrediting body that certifies sommeliers, and I graduated in 2013. My company let everybody go in 2016, and that's when I decided to go out on my own full-time, doing private wine events. Carmen: He was so happy, which made me happy. Our income became different, but for me to contribute more temporarily wasn't a huge deal. I kept saying to him, "Don't get back into something else you don't want to do." Bob: The first year, I made $6,000. You don't realize how much money matters until you don't have it. It's one thing to come from having nothing to something, but to go backwards, that really sucked. It's a big jump to go from 6 figures to $6,000. Carmen: I eventually stepped away from full-time market research to a part-time consulting role. I'm now in school full-time to become an acupuncturist. Bob: Life is different now. Have you ever been to a restaurant and you see a couple sitting across from each other and they're not talking and you're like, what the heck's wrong with them? I always used to wonder about that. But you reach this mellow spot in your life where you are content with everything and there's not as much to say. So I would say we're maybe a little mellower now and a little quieter. We just love each other. Through all the things we went through, there's always been that. We just got sidetracked for about 20 years. Carmen. But we're getting back on track. Bob. Yeah, we'll be there any day. Well guys, that's great that they're getting on the right path in their marriage. Now, our responsibility is to share our opinions with them through the comments section so they can know what we think about their story. Saying that much, let's get into the second story. This is a story from the woman who is married to 2 men, and now she is married to a woman. Here, Sonia and Rachel, married 7 months, share their story. I struggled my entire life with my sexuality, but didn't realize it was a struggle until I became an adult. I was raised very Catholic, and being with a woman was never really a thought I allowed in my mind. I got married at 27 to a guy named Joe. 3 days after we got engaged, we learned he had lung cancer, and he passed just 3 weeks after we got married. At that point, I already had a child that was not from that marriage. I had a son who's now 17 when I was in college, and I thought there was no hope for me. Then I met a wonderful man, and he fit all the pieces. Catholic, Republican, and my family adored him. Shortly into the marriage, I was feeling a void that I couldn't figure out. We had a baby, and our daughter was about 1 when I came to him and said, something still doesn't feel right, and I don't know what it is. And I know it's not you. It's me. The it's not you, it's me talk. Nothing was bad, but I knew in my heart, in my soul, in my gut that something wasn't right. I left my husband in November of 2016, and Rachel and I got engaged in March of 2019. We had a backyard wedding last summer. We have 3 kids between us. She has a daughter who's 7. Being married to a woman and being with Rachel is the easiest thing I've ever done. Trying to blend a family is by far the hardest. And so is sharing custody of our children. For mothers, there is an invisible umbilical cord that never fully disappears. When my daughter waves goodbye to visit her father for the weekend, it's almost inevitable for me to tear up. My wife does all she can to help mend my heart while she's gone. Her intentions are in the best place, but being with her and her daughter is just a brutal reminder that I am not with mine. I think the most surprising thing for me is that I like intercourse. I never knew I liked it. I remember crying through it and telling myself, it will only take 5 minutes. Now, I can't get enough of it. I also wasn't really aware of how much talking we were going to do. I remember thinking in my marriage with my second husband, I want to be able to talk about things, but men don't have the same desire to have hour-long conversations about their emotions. And when 2 women are together, we can talk for hours and days about how we're feeling and how it makes everyone else feel. And there's just so many emotions. I think men and women both have masculine and feminine traits. And whether you foster them or not is your choice. You are ever evolving, and you can support your partner in growing into who they're supposed to be. Or you can expect them to be the same person they were when you married them. But then you're setting yourself up for heartbreak, because everyone changes. It's just being aware that there will be change, and you'll have to work through it and support each other's growth, even when it's difficult. These stories were interesting to read. I have this following quote from Marilyn Monroe to summarize these stories. Experts on romance say for a happy marriage, there has to be more than a passionate love. For a lasting union, they insist, there must be a genuine liking for each other, which, in my book, is a good definition for friendship. Please keep the comments rolling in. We will try to reply to all the comments and share our opinions. If you think that you also need some advice or just want to share any life experiences, we have multiple videos on this channel that cover all topics on life. Feel free to watch all of them, but you can always share your stories with us at the email address in the description below. Love you! Thank you for watching the video. I will see you soon with another intriguing story. And don't forget to smash the like button, share the video with others so they can contribute with their solutions, and press the bell icon to subscribe. Bye!